Who knows? Sky's the limit.
Hey everybody, welcome back. You might notice that the audio and the video are not the same. That's because I managed to screw up a couple of times today. So I decided to narrate this section as well. Welcome back. Today's practice is really great. A couple new changes. There's a new camera angle from overhead. I thought that might be interesting. I'm playing with that. See how you feel about it? Let me know in the comments below. I think it can show some things from a different perspective than I usually show, and that can be very useful. Also, there's a couple of really fun moves. There's a lift from a crow to a handstand, which I thought was really fun. There's a few more things in there I think you'd find interesting. Please look at my notes below to see the timestamp for the postures, for the standout postures that I thought you should take an extra look at. I apologize for the blurriness of the video. It's again one of those things that I'm still getting used to with this new equipment, but I promise that once I get a handle of all of this, the result is going to be fantastic. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. If you like this video, please hit like. If you like this channel, please hit subscribe. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'll be glad to hear anything you have to say, think. Love to know what's going through your mind. Enjoy the practice. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And I will see you again tomorrow morning. Starting in down dog, pedaling the feet, allowing the shoulders to soften and stretch, moving forwards and backwards in different shapes. I love this movement these days. As far forward as I can go, as deep and down as I can go, adding some push-ups there in the mix. Lifting the right leg up, I'm moving forward. And I want to find a back bend. I'm having a good time with that these days. But before we do the back bends, I want to get a nice big lift. Going through a warrior two, closing it up. And then reaching the arm into the sky. Here you can see the new camera angle. So notice as I grab my back foot, I allow both legs to move, but that the front toes and knees are pointing in the same direction. Very important to notice that. In the Skandasanas we'll talk about later, there's a couple more details to watch as well. Moving to the other side, finding the lift first, and then even higher on the toes, pushing it, letting the feet work hard, and closing down this sequence with a twist here at the end. You can see it again from above. Notice what I do with the leg that's straight. When I do my Skandasanas, move from side to side, I like to rotate the leg to feel the hip joint, all the way in the hip joint. Do I have all the rotation that I'm looking for? Coming to the middle of the mat, finding a balance, and sitting into the awkward pose from the Bikram series a couple times, because yesterday when I tried this, it was very difficult for me, so I figured I'll give it another shot. Another posture that's making its comeback is this balance, as you can see here, from 3 different directions into a standing split. The first time I did that balance, it was impossible to hold. This time it felt a lot more manageable. The key was to squeeze the knees together to stabilize the thighs and the hips, and then allow the rest of the leg, the shin, to work beyond. So you can see it very clearly that I first position the leg so that the knees can squeeze, and then I stretch the leg out back into standing splits. Finding our way back down into down dog and back to push-ups, moving back and forth on the mat, stepping the right foot forward and stretching the arms as far as possible, keeping the arms very long as you go through this transition to try to find as much length as possible to stretch the spine, open the chest, working the foot here very hard, the calf with the foot off the floor, and then transitioning to a neutral posture facing forward to end up where we started. So there's a transition there in the middle, moving from the open posture to the neutral posture, so from the warrior two to the high lunge. And that shift in the back foot was very tricky in the moment. When you do it slowly. And I'm adding an extra level of difficulty here by keeping the front foot off the floor through the transition, and only once I feel that the transition has been completed, I allow the foot to come down to the floor, and I can close out the posture, reaching out again in both directions and finding down dog. Again, different perspective here with the overhead camera. And I'm going to play with crows and crows lifting into handstand. So my first attempt didn't work so well, but here in the second attempt, and you can see it from this overhead, I'm lifting all the way up, stretching the legs and lengthening them up towards the ceiling, and then holding. I tried a little bit of scorpion. It threw me out. I haven't done that in a very long time. It's good to know that it's there, and eventually it'll come back. I'm working on the back bends and the other postures, so if it was there before, it's gonna come back again. The question is when. It's not really something I'm pressing towards. It's just something that I'm mixing into my practice, and whenever it shows up, it shows up. I find that generally it's much better to practice with this attitude of just see what happens, how it feels, instead of expecting things to stick or to work, because they're not going to work every day. Moving on into the balance here, pulling from the pelvic floor as I let the head fall down, finding my way into crow. I was thinking about lifting a little bit, but that didn't feel so great, so I switched instead into an L sit unfolding forward and an L lift. A couple of times working on folding deeper before I lift the legs, and finishing up with a lotus, full lotus with a double bind in the back. Right hand, left hand, taking a few breaths in this position, lifting the lotus a couple times for power, and then bringing it down to close. Once I come down, hands go up, folding forward. Thanks for joining, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.